A long time ago, in the heavens, there was a machine called the Destiny Astrolabe, which was capable of controlling the fates of mortals. When the goddess Nua saved the world by sealing the sky with a sacred stone, the remnants gave birth to a giant. The monster refused to accept his fate and battled the heavens to destroy the Destiny Astrolabe. The celestial armies defeated the giant and dispersed his body across the land, where it eventually became the Flower Mountain, and the Heartstone gave birth to the Monkey Demon. The Destiny Astrolabe, on the other hand, summons a series of disasters that destroy the Flower Mountain, and the Monkey Demon swears vengeance on the heavens. Wukong, the main character, arrives at the Immortals Academy, where the headmaster will choose individuals worthy of entering heaven and becoming immortal. Instead of attending the ceremony, he steals food from the kitchen, causing the captain of the guards to miss his meal from the server. The man bullies the girl and escalates the situation to the point where he attacks her with his weapon, but Zhuanglian, a recent graduate, saves her from the devastating blow. This enrages the soldier even more, and Zhuanglian is thrown across the room. However, another deity named Ozzy kicks the captain, embarrassing him in front of the crowd. The man becomes enraged and orders the guards to attack the girl, but they are quickly pushed aside by Wukong, who grabs the captain by the shoulders and kicks him through the tables. Numerous guards enter the room and surround Wukong, but he summons his weapon from his ear, which transforms into a lava-filled staff. The soldiers charge at the man, but he summons the weapon's flames, causing a massive explosion that sends the enemies flying backwards. The fight in the ceremony alerts General Hua of the Celestial Army, who dispatches her right-hand man Teen to resolve the situation. Wukong smirks as he looks at the soldiers on the floor, but he quickly senses the impending danger as Teen flies in to attack him with numerous daggers. Wukong is able to counter the strikes, but the numerous blades make direct hits difficult. The Blade Master sends a swarm of daggers at Wukong, which turns into a massive tornado, engulfing him in a twister of blades. Wukong slams the staff onto the floor after being cornered with no way out, and it begins to grow to incredible proportions, eventually hitting the ceiling. As the massive weapon falls towards Teen, he kicks it, breaking open the flying blades. Wukong grabs the staff and hurls it at Teen, forcing him to leap into the air. Wukong is unable to withdraw his attack that is heading her way, despite Otzi's warning. The girl is struck by the weapon, but she appears to have stopped it with one finger. However, it turns out that another man, Erlang, stopped the attack with one hand while attempting to protect the girl. The man reveals his godly right arm and punches the massive staff towards Wukong, breaking the weapon as it flies backwards. Wukong retracts his staff and leaps into the air, intending to destroy his opponent with a final attack, but Erlang charges towards him and lands a devastating punch, throwing the main character into the walls and knocking him out. Wukong is apprehended and imprisoned by the guards, while the headmaster profusely apologizes to General Hua for the incident. Ozzy arrives and begins to complain about why his friend Erlang was imprisoned alongside Wukong, despite the fact that all he did was stop the fight. The general explains that Erlang disobeyed her orders by fighting when she only told Teen to solve the problem. Ozzy is revealed to be the general's daughter, but their relationship is clearly strained because the girl dislikes her mother's habit of imposing her will on everyone. At the same time, the two men are imprisoned together, and Wukong complains that their previous fight was unfair because it was 2-on-1. When Erlang refuses to fight him again, Wukong begins insulting Erlang's mother, who was punished by the general for loving a mortal. This enrages the man, and just as they are about to resume fighting, the general arrives at the prison, accompanied by Teen. While Wukong continues to complain about why his rival was set free, she unchains Erlang and tells him to wait for her in the council. The general removes the prisoner's binding crown and places it on his head. She begins chanting, and the crown shrinks, causing Wukong to scream on the floor and eventually faint from the pressure. She hands the scepter capable of controlling the crown to her daughter and instructs Ozzy to keep the man under constant supervision. Wukong begins to dream about his past, and it soon becomes clear that he was the demon monkey created by the Heartstone. A deity took pity on him and not only saved him from death, but also sealed his powers within the human form to protect him from the wrath of gods. At the same time, General Hua lectures Erlang about his unwillingness to let go of human emotions, which prevents him from opening his third eye, which would grant him incredible powers. She tells him to forget about his mother and Otzi in order to become a true deity. Wukong awakens to find himself with Otzi and vows to reclaim his freedom by removing the bindings. He screams angrily at her, but when Ozzy pulls out the scepter, Wukong quickly bows down to the girl, hoping to avoid the pain he felt before. He attends a seminar where the headmaster demonstrates how heaven works to the students. They cross the bridge that separates the realm from the mortals, which the man claims will deprive them of their abilities if they fall into the waters. The room eventually leads to the Destiny Astrolabe, where the machine controls all mortal affairs. General Hua begins lecturing the crowd on the history of the heavens, specifically mentioning the annihilation of Flower Mountain in order to test Wukong's true purpose for being here. The monkey demon becomes enraged upon hearing the woman's compassionless rant, but before he can act, Ozzy interrupts her mother and publicly opposes her ideals. She claims that heaven is supposed to represent justice, so how can destroying someone's home represent such an ideal? According to the general, everything is done in accordance with the destiny astrolabe, which is the ultimate justice. General Hua confirms that the demon who attacked the heavens before still lives inside Wukong after purposefully enraging the monkey demon, and orders Teen to retrieve the Heartstone by killing him. Wukong tricks Zhuanglian and knocks him out while stealing his key, which opens the council gates. He leaps onto the Bridge of Destiny, intending to destroy the astrolabe and free all mortals from their fates, but Erlang stops him and warns him about breaking the laws. The man draws his sword and charges at the monkey demon, stabbing the staff and freezing its fire elements. He throws Wukong to the ground and continues to slash him, but the demon manages to dodge all of his attacks. Their fight begins to damage the bridge, causing a storm to form. When Ozzy discovers Zhuanglian unconscious in the kitchen with the keys missing, she realizes something is wrong. Teen joins the fight against Wukong at the order of the general, and the two begin attacking the demon together with multiple strikes, eventually overpowering Wukong. Ozzy arrives at the bridge with Zhuanglian and tries to stop them, but Wukong hits the floor and enlarges the staff after being cornered, completely destroying the structure. The group falls from the sky alongside the giant weapon and lands in Mortal Land. The group survives the fall and wonders where they are, but Teen realizes they have landed on what used to be the Flower Mountain. The three men continue to fight each other, but they soon realize that their powers have vanished after crossing the Bridge of Destiny. When a large cloud begins to form on top of the village, the villagers rush into the building in fear of the demon that is about to wreak havoc on the town. As it steals the water from the humans, the cloud monster begins to take them. Teen notices a child outside and, to his surprise, a woman runs to protect the boy from harm. He rushes to save them and carries them inside, but is dragged towards the center by the cloud demon. Wukong grabs onto the man along with everyone else before he is completely consumed. Otzi shoots the cloud demon with an ice arrow created by Zhuanglian, freezing it and forcing it to flee. The next morning, Wukong awakens to find himself bound by Ozzy in order to prevent further fighting among the group. She tells Wukong and Erlang that they must help the villagers because they have suffered greatly and believe that they are deities sent from heaven. The two initially refuse, but after witnessing the villagers' misfortunes with their own eyes, they decide to capture the cloud demon and save the people together. Teen explains that the cloud was originally from the heavens, but it wandered off and became corrupted by the demonic auras emanating from the ruins. It drained all of the water from the village, causing a drought and preventing any crops from growing. They intend to fool the monster and capture it by projecting a sunset, and they intend to weaken it by firing ice bombs from a large cannon. The villagers drape all of their red cloth in a pattern, and the sky soon darkens as the demon appears over the village. They began shooting ice arrows into the sky, but this only annoys the monster and causes it to retreat temporarily. Teen grabs the torch and throws it beneath the red cloth field, creating the illusion of a sunset, which triggers the monster and causes it to reveal its true form. As the demon gets closer, Wukong uses the opportunity to load the cannon and fire directly at the demon's face. The monster quickly freezes and falls towards the city, where Teen captures it by encasing it in a cage. People start cheering as the sky begins to rain after years of drought. The villagers gather at night to celebrate the demon's defeat, but Zhuanglian notices something strange as ice particles form in the air. He notices a mysterious figure in the background who appears in front of the people, surrounded by a dark aura. The man assaults Zhuanglian and knocks him into a building, while the people panic and flee for safety. The man follows the villagers inside and starts creating ice weapons out of thin air, which he then unleashes on the villagers. More assassins approach Teen as he attempts to flee, but is stabbed by the numerous ice shards across his body. Wukong notices something strange in the air and runs towards the town center, but when they arrive, they discover that all the people have been killed. Erlang arrives and is astounded by what has occurred. They look at Zhuanglian, who is barely alive, and he apologizes for failing to save the villagers before passing away. Assassins swarm outside the building, and Wukong charges at them in rage, hoping to avenge his friends. The men open fire on the monkey demon, who is impaled by ice bullets and falls to the ground. The general appears and tells them that their efforts are futile in the face of destiny, as the astrolabe has long decided that the people are doomed. She advises them to give up their hopes because everything is predetermined. Wukong screams in rage as the general knocks him out with one last blow. Ozzy awakens in a prison cell with Erlang, who has accepted the heavens' rulings. He tells her that they were wrong to defy fate and try to save the people. Wukong is imprisoned in the deepest level, where he is constantly in excruciating pain but refuses to die while waiting for Otzi's return. The girl approaches the monkey demon, and Wukong smiles as she approaches. In an attempt to alleviate her friend's pain, Ozzy tells him that she despises him and that he has lost everything. The Flower Mountain will never return, and they cannot defeat fate. Wukong, heartbroken and hopeless, finally gives up on life and slowly decays, leaving behind the Heartstone and the scarf he carries. As she drops the scarf into the Flower Mountain, where it lands inside the village, Ozzy promises to complete her friend's mission. Erlang gives the general the Heartstone, and after letting go of all emotions, he opens the third eye on his forehead and gains tremendous power. The elder deity takes up the scarf that fell from heaven and converses with the monkey demon in purgatory. The main character believes he has lost everything, but the old man believes otherwise. Wukong's loss of the Heartstone allowed him to abandon his mortal body. He must now decide whether he wants to accept fate or fight it with his heart. Wukong begins by raising the massive staff that represents his power and resurrecting it in flames. As the buildings collapse around it, the massive weapon breaks the ground and rises into the air. As the staff emerges from its outer shells, the monkey demon emerges from the dust and assumes his true form. He releases the captured demon cloud, which carries the monkey demon into the air as they charge towards the gods. Wukong travels outside the kingdom to observe the deities. He crashes into the building, causing a massive explosion that kills all of the guards in one shot and knocks the captain to the ground. He declares himself equal to the heavens and addresses the celestial warriors directly. The demon hurls the staff at the soldiers and attacks them like a wild beast, ripping them apart one by one as he seeks vengeance for the people they murdered in the village. At the same time, Ozzy betrays her mother by refusing to accept the tyranny and striking at the Destiny Astrolabe, attempting to permanently break it. Teen arrives alongside Wukong after surviving the attacks, and they begin destroying the armies together. The soldiers are quickly defeated and turned into dust before long. The general prevents her daughter from sabotaging the machine by grabbing her neck and slamming her in the chest, throwing her into the air with great force. As Teen prepares to fight the general to the death, Wukong rushes into the room and seizes the woman. He hurls multiple blades at the opponent, but she easily blocks them with the metals she uses as shields. The general then returns the man's blades to him and knocks him against the wall, transforming him into dust as he vanishes from this world. Wukong notices Ozzy is mortally wounded and tries to console her, but she tells him not to be sad, only wishing for more time together. As Wukong gently lays her own down on the floor, the two share one last kiss before Ozzy fades into nothingness. While Ozzy cries, the monkey demon steals his crown and wraps it around his weapon. He walks towards the general, vowing to avenge all those she has killed. The woman builds a metallic wall around herself, but Wukong repeatedly strikes it with anger, eventually overpowering her magic. The general is forced to teleport them outside and attacks Wukong with a slew of blades she created, but the demon easily deflects all of them and breaks them into pieces. Wukong becomes aware that Erlang has arrived and is knocked away by his attack. The man has chosen to abandon his memories of his friends because he no longer feels any emotions. The two charge at each other and exchange blows furiously, but Erlang gains the upper hand and pushes Wukong backwards. He conjures a massive ice weapon, which strikes Wukong, propelling him towards the mountains and crashing into the rocks. The demon responds by launching his own weapon, but Erlang stops it and breaks the staff piece by piece, stabbing Wukong in the stomach. The monkey discards their weapons, and the two proceed to punch each other with all their might, resulting in a massive explosion that engulfs the entire area. General Hua walks towards Erlang after the dust has settled, but he notices something is wrong. After striking Wukong and sensing Otzi's presence in the demon's heart, the man begins to recall his memories. He sobs as he realizes she has died and opens his eyes, refusing to let go of Otzi's memories and be treated as a puppet under the general's control. When the general realizes Erlang has betrayed her will, she decides to vanquish both of them by transforming into a massive titan using the metals around her. Wukong rises from the ground and conjures a ball of flames that transforms into his weapon. As the weapon grows in size, he throws it at the giant and leaps onto it. As the weapon approaches the titan, he charges towards him. Erlang starts running as well, leaping onto the floating rocks to get closer to the enemy. While Wukong jumps under the giant's staff and swings it at the titan, he leaps towards the center of the giant and prepares his final attack. Wukong lands a direct hit on the head as Erlang punches through the giant's heart. The massive staff shatters the general in half as it slices through her body, turning her to dust. After finally destroying the general and the machine of destiny, the two lands return to the building. Erlang tells Wukong that Otzi saved him this time, but their next encounter will be a battle to the death. As the two part ways, Wukong turns around and accepts the challenge. Wukong will gather all those unwilling to accept their fates and wage a war against the deities that will last hundreds of years, while Erlang will become the new general of the celestial army.